Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to the Walpole Business Spotlight TV show, brought to you by the Walpole Chamber of Commerce and Walpole TV. The mission of the show is going to be bringing local businesses and sales professionals into Spotlight and allowing our community to get to know them, their products, their businesses, so they can make informed educational decisions on doing business with local stores and professionals. Today we have Mike Brown from Kids in Sports, a local business located in Walpole that just started out, I believe, last year.
Yeah, November.
And we'd like to welcome Mike today and into the town and get to know more about him. So first off, if we could ask a couple questions about you and where you come from.
Great.
So tell us your background story as far as where you've been before you started the franchise Kid in Sports.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you, Harry, for having me. I appreciate
Very
it.
welcome.
So my name is Mike Brown. I grew up actually in central Massachusetts and went to Boston University, ended up finding a lovely lady, got married, and now I live in Mansfield. I've got two kids, 14 and 11. And for the last 20 years, I've been working in the financial services industry. Loved the people that I worked with, but never loved what I was doing. And last year, my wife and I had a long conversation, and she says, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to own my own business." So we decided the timing was right, so we went for it. And one of the things that we looked at was, what type? Do you open up your own business from scratch, or do you join a franchise? And so I decided to join a franchise, and I found this place called Kids in Sports out of New York.
That's great. So I know when we got together earlier last year, and again, by the way, I'm Harry Brusades, president of the Walpole Chamber. You had reached out to us and asked about joining. Tell me a little bit about, I guess, maybe that process of why they said, hey, go reach out to your local chamber.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about the Kids in Sports franchise is they gave me a manual, basically how to get started manual. And one of the first things they said was join your local Chamber of Commerce. And so once I knew that I was going to be in Walpole, then I decided, look it up. So I looked on your website. It was very easy how to join. And I joined and then reached out to you to find out, what are all the different benefits there are.
Great. And we held a little grand open house for you, and we had about 25 to 30 members come and view the establishment, listen to you as far as what the mission statement was for the business. And I hope that helped you grow a little bit as well.
It did, and the fact that we actually did a ribbon cutting.
Yes.
Which I didn't know is actually what you do.
Yeah.
You actually cut the ribbon. I still have the ribbon.
Oh, great.
So
great. So I see here I did a little background checking, and I was on LinkedIn, and I saw that you've got a summary here. It kind of alludes to what you just said. It said you're a retirement plan professional with almost 20 years experience who is now a business owner focused on teaching children the fundamentals of team sports.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that now as far as what you do at Kids in Sports.
Absolutely. So as the owner of Kids in Sports, there's a number of different things to do as a business owner. But ultimately what we're doing at Kids in Sports is we are a specialized sports program for children ages 12 months, so 1 year all the way up to 12 years. And what we're doing is we're teaching them the fundamentals of different types of sports: baseball, basketball, football, hockey, lacrosse, volleyball, soccer. And we have different lesson plans for each age. But ultimately what we're trying to do is get kids excited at a very early age about sports. A lot of kids are inactive nowadays. We are struggling with technology, video games, TV, lots of other options for kids. And I just know when I was a kid, I spent all my time outside playing basketball, throwing baseballs around. And we kind of want to try to bring those kids back to sports. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do.
Okay. And yeah, I would agree with the fact, not to say when I was a kid we walked 20 miles to school, but it was a different world. And I think that different world was that kids grew up playing multiple sports. I mean, each season had its sport, and then you put the skates away and grab the baseball glove. And nowadays, kids seem to either be on the couch or they seem to be gravitating to one sport only,
Yep.
which isn't giving them that diverse physical education, I guess. So it's kind of like, gym in a private setting.
Yeah, exactly. And my kids don't go to gym now year round. They have it once or twice a year. I just remember we used to always have gym.
Right.
That was a given.
Sure.
So, the kids are at school, they're not getting that time to let out that energy. So parents are looking for places for those kids to do it.
Sure.
When you bring up the multiple sports, that's really our biggest philosophy at Kids in Sports, is this idea of teaching kids and introducing kids to those different sports at an early age will benefit them in the future. They're going to play sports forever if they play lots of different sports. If you try to specialize too early, under 6 years old, for instance, you start specializing into one sport, kids tend to burn out at an earlier rate. Maybe that's not the sport they chose, and so they're not going to put all their energy into it. By introducing them to different sports, we're giving them the choice. We're letting them say, hey, I love basketball. I love it. I want to play basketball. Introduce them to hockey. They love hockey, and they love soccer. So to your point, they can play different sports. Now, eventually, over time, they may choose one that they really want to specialize in. But interestingly, if you look at professional athletes nowadays, many of them played different sports.
Sure.
I mean, Tom Brady could play professional baseball.
Yep.
Jordan Spieth, #1 golfer, played basketball, football, and baseball in high school. So it benefits them also because they're learning different skills from those different sports. So that's really one of our biggest things that we believe in at Kids in Sports.
Sure. So tell me a little bit, so as a business owner, you're taking care of things like paying bills, keeping the lights on,
Yep.
scheduling, et cetera. Who's actually working directly with the kids on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so me, #1. I'm still the director. And it's what I wanted to do. I wanted to find something that not only could I run the business, but actually do the job. And for the first time, I actually enjoy getting up in the morning and going into work and coaching the kids. But I have help. So I've got someone that runs my office for me to make sure that we're getting registrations and scheduling everything. And then I have other coaches that work for me as well. One of the things at Kids in Sports that we do is we maintain a very low coach-to-child ratio. So for every 5 kids in a class, I have to have 1 coach. So as my classes begin to grow, I'll be having more coaches. But ultimately, I'm still directing most of the classes.
Sure. So as far as the other coaches, and I assume parents would always want to be aware of this, are they being vetted, background checked, all like that?
Absolutely. So, one thing we look at, some of my coaches are sports management or physical education graduates who would love that. This is what they want to do. They want to work with kids.
Sure.
They want to teach kids how to play sports, and we do background checks on all of our coaches. So this is we take it very seriously as far as who our coaches are. The nice part of our Kids in Sports is the fact that we're provided a curriculum. So we're not in there also creating our own program. We're using a proven program that the guys at Kids in Sports created for the last 17 years. So it's a proven one, and the idea is to bring in people that kids like, that are trusting, and they just have fun playing sports with.
Sure, that's great. So what would you say is your average class time length?
Yep.
Or is it varied? Do kids stay for a whole half day, or is it scheduled?
No, it's actually pretty easy. So for our young kids, 1, 2s, and 3s, our classes are about 45 minutes long. It's a structured class, and so we find that at that age, 45 minutes is about the amount of time that they're gonna be able to do it. Once you go higher than that, 4, 5, 6, and above, it's hour classes.
Okay.
But we do offer a 2-hour preschool athletes class that is designed as a drop-off class for 2.5 to 4-year-olds, where they spend the first hour doing sports, and then they actually do the second part in our classroom. Just kind of, having a snack, having a little bit of free play, playing some music, doing some arts and crafts. It's a great opportunity for parents who are transitioning their children to preschool, that maybe they're not ready for that 3-4 hour preschool time, or we also have others that are in preschool already and they're looking to supplement another day during the week to keep their kids busy. Eventually our goal is to do camps, which could be like 3, 4, or 5 hour camps.
Okay.
But really it's the structured classes, 45 to an hour.
Okay. And as far as the time that the business is open, like what time do you guys open in the morning?
Yeah, we are open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, we're open 9 to 5, basically. Those are the times we have. A lot of the morning classes are for the young kids that aren't in school. Then in the afternoon is more for the older kids as they start getting out of school. And then on weekends, in the morning, we have classes. And then one thing I haven't mentioned as well is that in the afternoons on the weekends, we do birthday parties.
Right,
So we offer
and that's what I was going to
parties.
get to.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that. You know, how big a size party can it be? Do the parents bring in the food? What are you doing
Absolutely.
there?
Yeah, so the birthday parties are a lot of fun. It's a 90-minute party. They do an hour of different types of sports. Again, we maintain our 1-to-5 coaching ratio. So for every 5 kids, we have a coach in there.
Oh, okay.
We have our event room in the back where they, for the last half hour, will go in and eat. In terms of the structure of the party, our limit is 20 kids. We want them to have a safe and fun time, so no more than 20. Ages can range from 2 to 12. We actually did a one-year-old birthday party, but it was more of a family party, I would say. And then we actually just updated our packaging for our birthday parties so that if you want, it can include paper goods like plates and napkins. It can include tablecloths. We can do in the invitations for them. The only thing we don't do is the food. So we do recommend and suggest that the parents bring in the food for a lot of different reasons, but mainly we do the coaching really well. We do the party really well. And there's also a lot of, get food allergies and different things like that. So the nice part is there's a lot of different places around kids in sports, pizza places and whatnot, where they can easily get their pizza. There's a big Y down the street. They can go grab their stuff there. So there's a lot of different things they can do.
That's great. So I was on your website doing a little research as well, and I think something that's great for any business or all businesses is to have some testimonials up on there as well, and I'd just like to read a couple here.
Great.
And maybe you can speak to them.
Sure.
So one of the parents had mentioned that this is the first organized activity my daughter has agreed to do. She leaves each session with increased confidence and a smile on her face. So talk a little bit about, it's just not about running around and throwing things. Talk about how you're building confidence for the kids.
Yeah, one of the things in our mission at Kids in Sports is to teach the kids the fundamentals in sports, but in a safe, fun, friendly, and supportive environment. And what we are emphasizing are things like sportsmanship, teamwork, respect, communication. Every parent that comes in, they have a certain objective for their child. Now, some are coming in saying, I want my kid to be the next LeBron James, and that's great, and we can help start them in their path. But others are simply looking for something that's structured, and something that maybe their child is shy and hasn't participated in other things. And in our place, it's a great size for the kids. It's not huge. It's not this big place where they get lost. They get the personal coaching from us because we have that low ratio. So the kids are feeling comfortable, and when they come into the place, immediately they feel like this is a place they like to come to, and what happens is they can't wait to come back. And so I think in cases like that first one that you read, and there's many cases like that I've heard, is we've tried other places, but for some reason my child seems to just respond to you guys and Kids in Sports. Yeah,
and that goes on to my second one here. Trying to get kids to get off the couch, again, is tough and at any age, but it seems like this child might be a little young, and he said, the parent said, when we tell our son it's time to go to class, his face lights up and he claps his hands. We highly recommend taking classes at Kids on Sports.
Yep.
Another one, our son looks forward to going to class every week, and I know he will carry the lessons he is learning with him as he gets older.
Yeah.
So again, that just speaks to exactly what you're saying.
And just to stay on that as well, I get photos and emails from parents who tell me that while they're at home, the kids are copying the things that we're doing in class. So
that's great.
one thing I've just heard today was we do the parachute at the end of class. You know, the big parachute, the kids all get around it, they hold it. So it's a fun way to end class. And found out that now this one child they have to get the bed, like a sheet off the bed, and the parents have to do the parachute in the house. So there's always little things that they're picking up and they're bringing home with them, which is great.
Okay. So now I'd like to get on to the where.
Yeah.
And, tell us a little bit about exactly where it's located.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are right on Route 1 in Walpole. We're on the Route 1 south side.
That's
so
that new building complex.
The new building,
Okay.
yeah, built a couple years ago. And what's great is there's about 7 or 8 businesses all in that strip right there. We're located right on the corner. So we've got lots of parking, very safe for children to use.
Sure. And as we had discussed too, it could be a great place for when a mom or dad needs to drop off the child.
Yep.
They can then go and go to the other establishments, whether it's
Absolutely.
getting their hair done, grabbing a slice of pizza.
Yep.
What else do we have
They have
over there?
nails.
Workout.
Yep.
CrossFit.
Yep, the
Prosperity.
CrossFit. Yep. There's also an AT&T store there, so if you have to, you've been waiting to do something with your phone, you've got some time, you can head down there.
Yeah.
And it's not just even in that plaza. Just down the road is that big area. You got the Starbucks and the Big Y and all
Sure.
that. So a lot of parents may spend a couple minutes to go down and get some food shopping done.
Right.
So it's in a very convenient location, which is one of my biggest draws. And the traffic there is great for people seeing the business.
Sure.
And what's also great, and people say Route 1 is you can do a U-turn at both lights. So no issues with turning around.
There's a shortcut through East Walpole.
And there's
that you
plenty
can
of
use too.
shortcuts to go.
Right.
Yep.
And yeah, so I think I met you there a couple times as you were doing the build out.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a brand new facility. I've seen, as far as being there personally, you've got all the artificial grass, you've got the padding all along the walls to keep the kids safe.
Yep.
So I mean, you definitely invested what you needed to invest to take care of the kids there.
Yeah, I mean, we really lucked out with the fact that it was a brand new building. We were able to kind of just take a floor plan and figure out the best situation for us instead of taking an established building and having to work around it. So, J.D. Murphy, who's property owner, was very helpful in letting me kind of create that design, which was great. And one of the things that we decided to do in our sports room is not put a drop-down ceiling, but we painted the ceiling white. So it's a nice bright area, but it's got these high ceilings for all the balls to be thrown around. And it's just been, it's really been a fantastic place to be.
That's great. And also, you've got plenty of parking available too.
We have
with
plenty of
those.
parking. So, one of the things going back to the franchise and that manual that they put together. So after they said join the chamber, then they said, in terms of finding locations, one of the big things was parking. For a suburban type location, that's what you need. So that was a really big key. The second thing, and I mentioned before, is it's got to be a family-friendly atmosphere that you want to feel like you can bring your kids to. And having the plus was having the other businesses there, because that just generates more and more business coming in.
Sure. So, we've talked about where the business is today. Tell
Yes.
me a little bit about where it might be tomorrow, as far as, I guess, additional classes, scheduling, et cetera.
Yeah, we've been open a little over 4 months now, and really been concentrating on enrollment for classes, the birthday parties. I mentioned earlier the camps. Love to get more and more of the camps going.
And that'll be more primarily for the summer?
That could be summer. It could be winter vacations.
Okay,
We could do mini one-day camps. So there's a lot of variety there we can do. Really, what I'd love to be able to do, especially in Walpole, is take the show on the road. be able to go to the schools,
Nice.
go to some of the preschools, and be able to do some on-site classes after school at some of the Walpole schools would be great. For the kids to have as another option.
Sure.
So that's what I'd love to be able to do in terms of really, expanding the kids in sports, not just in Walpole, but other towns as well.
And I believe you had mentioned, did you reach out to the Walpole Recreation Department too about how you can
do
some similar
yeah,
things?
and one of the things that I actually just decided to do was to put a big sign up at the Little League field at
that's
the Walpole.
right.
And one thing I want to start doing is working with the rec leagues, baseball, basketball, football, to try to figure out a way to work with them to get kids at a real young age excited that aren't ready or aren't eligible yet to play in those leagues.
Sure.
What can we do at Kids in Sports to get those kids going and try to partner with them?
That's great. And what else have you might have looked into regarding reaching out to the community? Are you aware of Walpole Day that we do annually? And
I just submitted my application yesterday, so I'm planning on, in fact, I was talking with the franchise, and we have a mascot. His name is Sporty. He has all different sports, and we had him at the open house, and it was a big hit. So they actually have the big costume for him, and so I asked them if I could use it for that day. So I'm going to get him up here, and we're going to walk the parade.
Excellent.
And then we're going to have a booth there as well. So definitely want to be able to do more of that type of stuff in the community. We've been also supporting a lot of the charities in the area, fundraising. So the Friends of St. Patrick, some of the schools have reached out, and so we've been donating, raffle baskets and gift certificates and whatnot to help out.
Great. And what else might you be doing regarding getting the message out? Are you doing local advertising in newspapers, direct mail campaigns, something like that? Or,
Yeah, so we've done direct mail campaigns. I did it when I first started, and that was great. I tried another one. That just continues to get the message out of where we are, but you can't just do that. So we have a Facebook page that we use a lot now, but locally what we've done is Hometown Weekly, so we use in the Walpole paper. We've also been doing, in fact I just today finalized to do some advertising at the Big Y. We're at the deli and they have the big screen.
Oh, nice.
So we'll be doing some of that. Like I mentioned, the Little League, doing the advertising there as well.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, advertising is important. You've got to get the message out. So always looking for new ideas to do that.
So we talked briefly at the beginning a little bit about, you had said a little bit about why you got into the business. And, when we first talked about the chamber, we discussed how, I'll always ask clients in my business, if you never had to work and money was never an issue, what would you want to do, if anything?
Right.
And I had mentioned something about like coaching kids or, being a gym teacher or something. And you had mentioned, I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do, and that's great. So tell me, just elaborate a little bit more on your why.
Yeah.
Why is this your passion now?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually funny. I coach my daughter's soccer team, been doing it for about 6 years now. And one of the gentlemen I coach with, one day at practice, probably about 2 years ago, we were both sitting there, and we both leave our jobs, and I used to work in Boston, so I have to hop on the train and come down, and and we both were so happy we're on the fields, and we're like, this is the best part of our day, And he looked at me, he goes, if I could figure out a way to earn a living and coach sports, he goes, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Sure.
And so I remembered that because I felt the exact same way. And so when I was looking for an opportunity and I found Kids in Sports, they invited me down there for a day to check it out. So they're kind of checking me out to see if they want to award me the franchise, and I'm checking them out to see if I want to join them. And as soon as I walked in, I knew this was the right fit, because all day long, all you're doing is you're teaching kids, not just like we talked about, just about sports, but it's about gaining that confidence, right? I mean, when you see a kid get the basket in the hoop, and his face lights up, and you can see the confidence is just, exploding right there. They're going to take that to the next thing they do.
Sure.
It doesn't even have to be sports. Right. So they get home and something they haven't been able to do, they're going to be able to do. So for me, when I was coaching my daughter's soccer team, we never really, listen, you want to win games, you don't want to lose. But at the end of the day, what we looked for was how were the girls when we first started in the season, first game, to the end of the season. And when you saw that progress and that development, and you saw how confident they were, that's really why I wanted to get into it. So I figured out basically a way to, do this, enjoy doing it. When the kids come in and they light up and they say, "Hey, Coach Mike," and they're excited and they can't wait to go into class,
That's great.
all those other worries go away.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I hope that you've enjoyed your time here today.
Very much so.
Is there
Thank you.
anything that you think we might have stepped over or that you wanted to talk about anymore?
No, other than, we're a new business in Walpole. So any parents that are out there looking for something different for their kids, they've been looking for something that's sports oriented, but haven't been able to find it, just come in, check us out.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Harry.
I appreciate it, Mike.
Thanks.
So again, I wanted to thank Michael from Kids in Sports for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the show and found it very informative and educational. Again, the biggest part of this show is to bring business owners and sales professionals to light for the community so they can make informed educational decisions and work with people that they know, like, and trust. And that's everything that the Walpole Chamber is about, and it's all about advancing community and businesses and doing everything we can to make sure that people can have a great buying decision and enjoy their lives. So I thank you today. Again, thanks again, Mike.
Thank you, Harry.
Be well and be safe.